Today I'm doing the dynamic book room on Hackvisor. It's another warm-up stage 3 to medium room. It's going to cover rsync. It's a Linux-based service for synchronizing files and directories from one source to another quickly and efficiently. It's ideal for transferring files in between local and remote systems. It's recommended for practicing exploiting vulnerabilities in machine running misconfigured rsync servers to gain access and perform previous escalation attacks. Okay, so we've got our machine running. There's the IP, and we've got a VPN connection to Hackvisor. So we'll get started. So start off with a port scan as usual. So we'll do a Rust scan this time, and which also incorporates an nmap. So we'll copy our IP and run Rust scan, and we can see we've got port 22 open, so SSH. We've got 111 873 2049, which I think is NFS. We'll just wait till that completes. We'll continue on. Have a look at the questions. We've got to find which service is running on port 873. So from reading this, I'd say it's probably rsync service. It tells you in there. What is the purpose of the rsync server? It's for transferring files. Path to the configuration file for rsync. So there's a lot of questions there we've got to answer. So we'll just wait till our nmaps and Rust scan finishes. Found a few other open ports. 35013, 37315. I don't know what any of them are. Okay, so it's now sort of an nmap scan. If you just set it with a -A flag, it's looking for scripts, operating system, and service versions, and the -- signifies that it's going to be an nmap as well, incorporated to the Rust scan. So just wait till that finishes. There we go, it's done. So I guess we can see, yep, port 22 SSH. It's running version OpenSSH 8.4 P1. We've got 111, it's RCPC bind. We've got 873, which is rsync. We've got 2049, which is NFS, and all these other ports which are probably not going to be used. And we've got sort of Linux machine. So because it's all about rsync, this one, so we'll look at rsync and see if we can enumerate the rsync service. So 873 is rsync, so that's the first question answered. What service is running on 873? It's rsync. What's the purpose of the rsync server? So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of enumeration on the rsync service. We'll clear our screen. We'll have a look at rsync with this command. We need our IP. And we need to do 2 colons and a root after it. And this shows you what's in the root directory. They're pretty standard stuff there. So the next question is, what is the purpose of the rsync server? That's for transferring files and backup services. What is the path for the configuration file of the rsync service? So we can probably Google that one. So we can say rsync config file. And it'll tell you here, if you have a look. Rsync configuration files typically located at etc rsync.conf configuration. So we'll have a look at that. So we'll do ECT rsync.conf. So we've got to download the file to be able to read it. So if we do a dot after it, that downloads it to our machine, and have a look, and we can see it's there. So we can cut that to read it. So rsync, and there we go. We can see we've got some configuration details in there. It's a backup server. So there's the answer to that one. It's a backup server. So we can close that. What is the purpose of this rsync service? It's a backup server, and the path to the configuration file is rsync.conf. What UID value is the rsync service configured with? So because we can read files on it, the next step would be to try and read the UID. So it's 1001. Which user owns the UID value for which the rsync service is configured? So to find users, we have to look at the try and read the password file. So we'll just say password, and we're going to download it to our machine. And let's have a look, and it should be there. There it is. So we can cut that file. And we can see 101 is Sasha, so the user is Sasha. The next question, according to the information in the backup log file, which username was used by the person who tried to connect to SSH with the wrong username? Okay, so the next part would be to search this rsync service for any kind of backup files. So if we have a look at the root directory again, we can see we have backups here, so we should be able to look at backups. So we'll do /backups, and we can see we've got database and log in there. So let's have a look at log. And we can see we've got an auth.log.1. So let's have a look at that. We'll download that to our machine. So auth.log.1, and we're going to download it to our machine and have a look at it. So auth, and there's the information in that file. And the question was which username was used by the person who tried to connect to SSH with the wrong username. So we read through here, we can see change user to Sasha, invalid user, SASJA. So it's Sasja is the answer to that question. What is the first name, last name of the passenger flying from Miami to Las Vegas? There's only one question to go. Okay, so let's see if we can read that. So let's have a look in the backups again. And we can see we've got database, so let's check out the database. And we can see we've got a flights_22.backup.sql file and passengers.backup.sql file. So we'll see if we can try and read those files. So we'll go database, and then flights. underscore 2022 dot backup dot SQL, and we'll try and download that to our machine. And we get a permission denied, so we can't download it because we don't have permission. So we need to escalate privileges by the look of it. So let's have a look at the other one, see if we can look at the passengers one. Passengers dot backup dot backup dot SQL. Try and download that one, and we get the same error, permission denied. So the next thing we'll try to do is, since the rsync service runs under privileges of the Sasha user, let's check if we're authorized to upload files to the home directory of the Sasha user. So we may be able to upload a file, and then we can maybe upload a SSH key and get connection. So we'll create a file with a touch called test.txt, and we'll do rsync. We'll do a -r flag for uploading files, and we'll need to put our IP in there. So copy that one, and two colons root, and we'll try and upload to home Sasha. And see if that's successful. And we didn't get any permission denied or anything, so that's a good sign. So let's test and see if the upload's successful. So we'll just do the same thing, but we'll just take out the test.txt and check it out. And we can see we've got test.txt in there. So we can upload files to this home directory of Sasha. So we'll try and upload a SSH key and try and get connection to the target. So what we'll do next is we'll create a SSH key with this command, SSH-keygen, and it gets saved into root .ssh IDRSA. Don't need a passphrase. We'll copy the contents of the, if we just have a look in the .ssh file just created, we got IDRSA, which is our private key, and we've got the public key. So if we cat the IDRSA, that's our key, private key, open SSH, and we can have a look at this one, which is our public key. So what we've got to do is we'll copy the contents of the public key into a file named authorized keys with this command. So we'll do cat root, that's the command we need there. So we're copying from the root directory .ssh public key to a authorized key file in the same directory. So if we have a look in there now, we should see authorized keys. So let's try and upload it now to the Sasha's home directory. So what we'll do next is we'll do the rsync command again. Actually, probably go back and see if the command we've used before. It's that one there, but we just need to change this to need to change that to .ssh. We want to upload the whole SSH. Actually, we want to upload root .ssh. We want to upload that to home Sasha and see if that works. And looks like it's good, so we can have a look back in the home directory of Sasha again, and we should see that .ssh folder in there. So there we go. So that worked. So that's been uploaded to the target. So we should be able to get a connection now with that with our private key. So we're already in the right directory to use it. ID RSA. So next we'll just do SSH and Sasha. We just need our IP. And we should have connection. So yes. And we're connected. So if we do an ID, we can see we use a Sasha. Alright. So we have a connection to the target. And we can't read those files because they're in backup. We go to this directory, the root directory, and we can see backups is there. So have a look at backups, ls, have a look at database, and if we do an ls-la, we can see both of them owned by root. So that's why we can't read them, because we're not root, we're user Sasha. So we need to escalate our privileges. So for previous escalation, we'll do a see what pseudo privileges we have, and we can see we can run USR local bin syst helper with sudo. But we can also see we've got here env underscore keep equals ld preload. So if we do a bit of research, we can see we can use this ld preload to escalate our privileges. So we have a look online. I found this page here. We've got all about hacking articles. It's a good one to read about this privilege escalation technique, ld preload. So basically, all you need to do is we run the sudo -l command, which we've already done, and this one here they've found find and vim, but on our one we've got USR local bin syst helper, so we've got to use that, and we've got to create a file, an exploit with this code in it, and then upload it to the target, and then compile it, and then run it, and we should have root. So next what we do is I've already done this before, so if I have a look in here, you can see we've got a folder called ld preload, so we're going to there, and ls, and we can see we've got our exploit.c there, which is the same code that's on here, this code here. So if I do a cat exploit.c, you can see we've got our code there. We've got to upload that to our target, and I also have a notes file here, which is, if I have a look at that, it tells me all the commands I need to use and the method to get this to work. Okay, so we're up to this stage here, so we need to start a Python server. So we'll do a Python 3, so we can upload the exploit to our target. This is just basically following along with this here too. It's the same steps on here on this web page. So we've got our Python servers running, So now we go to our temp directories where we can upload files, and we'll do a wget and our IP 1081.225.8000, and it's exploit.c is the file we want to upload. So that's saved in there, so if we're doing ls we can see it, exploit.c, and the next step is to compile the exploit and save it to a file called, this is an SO file, so we need to copy this command here and run that, and that should get a few warnings there, don't worry about that. So we've compiled with GCC and it's saved to an output of shell.so. So if we do an ls now, we can see shell.so there. So now we've just got to run that file. So we'll go back here and we'll run it with sudo with systhelper, because we found that was what you got to run it with. Because you can see here, user session may run the following commands on Debian: USR local bin systhelper. So that's what we've got to use. So we'll add that in there, and if we do an ID, we can see we're root. So we've escalated with just a root now. So it's just a matter of now of reading the files and finding the last answer for the question. So we go back and have a look at the question. Last question: what is the first name of the passenger, first and last name of the passenger flying from Miami to Las Vegas? So we've got our flight files and passenger files, we've just got to search them and find the answer. So what we'll do next is we'll have a look what directory we're in temp, so we need to go back to our root directory, and we've got backups, so we're going to backups, and we go to database, and ls, and we can see we've got our two files in there now, because now we're root, so we should be able to read them. So we could cut the whole file, but this is going to be probably a big file, so we want to search that file, so we use grep. So we'll do grep, and we're going to search for find the flights going from Miami to Las Vegas. So we'll search for loss. Yep. Loss. Yeah, now we do flights underscore 2022 dot backup dot SQL, and we can see we found the flight of 1847. So now we've got to search that flight for a name. So we'll do a grep, and this time we're going to look for the 1847 flight, and we're going to look on the passengers because we're trying to find a passenger name. So 1847, we're going to do passengers dot backup dot SQL, and this should find the answer. And there we go, inserting the passengers. So on flight 1847 Miami to Las Vegas, which we found, there's a date the flight's going to be on at 7:30 AM. We found a name, Gabby Norton, and looks like she's probably in seat 37. Gabby Norton, and there's her email address, United States, and she's going to be on flight 1847. So there's the answer. What is the first and last name of the passenger flying from Miami to Las Vegas? Gabby Norton. That's it for that one. All done. Catch you next time.